Many great books are set in Paris, and I live in Paris, so I thought why not read these books where they're set in and feel the full immersion. Hello, welcome to my cozy corner of the internet. I do reading vlogs, game recommendations, and sometimes plain old vlogs here. In today's video, we'll be reading books set in Paris. First book I'll be reading is Perfume. Many of my friends read this one recently and they loved it, so I have very high hopes. This is a historical novel set in the 18th century France, and it follows the life of Jean-Baptiste Renouille, a man born with an extraordinary sense of smell but no body odor of his own. Obsessed with creating the perfect scent, he becomes a murderer, using the essence of young women to craft his ideal perfume. I heard it explores themes of obsession and identity, and so I can't wait to start reading it. I'm now going out to have coffee with my friend. She has this coffee shop she wants to try out in the 4th arrondissement, and I'll start reading this on my way there. I'll keep you updated as I read. I'm at chapter 4 right now, and the book has more details about Paris than I thought it would. Like, there are so many street names mentioned, places mentioned, and that's perfect. Also, the chapters are very short, and so far I really like how they're structured. We start from the moment Jean-Baptiste is born, but then he gets given to someone else, so the next chapter starts with that person, and that person doesn't want Jean-Baptiste, so he tries to get rid of him and he gives him to someone else. So the next chapter starts with another person taking care of Jean-Baptiste, and I think it's so interesting how they deal with him. I'm at Madame Gaillard's chapter right now, by the way, and I really like how the book makes us really know the character in the first 5 sentences. I'm not kidding, I only read 5 sentences and I already know so much about this character and her inner world, and that takes real talent to write like that. Okay, now I'm going to read a bit. I am really curious how this story will evolve, so... The first murder has been committed. It's the morning and I didn't eat anything yet. And all these descriptions of smell and also the murder now, it's making me feel really nauseous. Also, he committed the murder in Le Marais, which was where I was yesterday to have coffee with my friend. I'll add the clips here for full immersion. Also, this really made me think, when I'm out, I'm sitting at a cafe and I'm peacefully reading my book because I don't understand French yet, so I can zone everything out. But, how does this man do it? To be able to smell everything from everyone? That must be so overwhelming. Imagine that you're able to speak 10 or 15 languages and you're sitting at a cafe trying to read your book, but all those languages are being spoken around you. It would be so overwhelming. I mean, for him, it's like 1,000 people. He can smell 1,000 people to their roots. Imagine he's at a concert, 10,000 people, 30,000 people. Okay, now I'll go down to the boulangerie and I'll pick up some croissant baguette because I need some food in my belly to be able to stomach this. We're going to the Perfume. Perfume, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I feel really disturbed. It was a 3.5 out of 5 for me. Whenever I think about the book, I have this feeling that I need to puke, and so I don't want to talk more about it, and I want to go choose my next read. I need something light, I need something cute. I need to forget about what I just read. So I'm sure we can find so many cute romance books set in Paris, so I'll go look for one. I chose the second book I want to read, and it's Anna and the French Kiss. I really needed something light and silly and cute after what I just read. I read this book 6 years or so ago, and I remember being really bored, but I also finished it in one day. So let's hope I can do the same. It starts with this sentence. Here is everything I know about France. Madeleine and Emily and Moulin Rouge, the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe, although I have no idea what the function of either actually is. Napoleon, Marie Antoinette, and a lot of kings named Louis. I'm not sure what they did either, but I think it has something to do with French Revolution, which has something to do with Bastille Day. The art museum is called the Louvre, and it's shaped like a pyramid, and the Mona Lisa lives there along with the statue of the woman missing her arms. And there are cafes or bistros or whatever they call them on every street corner. The food is supposed to be good, and people drink a lot of wine and smoke a lot. I've heard they don't like Americans and they don't like white sneakers. I've never heard that they don't like white sneakers. It's not that I'm ungrateful, I mean, it's Paris, the city of light, the most romantic city in the world. I'm not immune to that. It's just this whole international boarding school thing is a lot more about my father. I don't understand why my father couldn't send me to Australia or Ireland or anywhere else where English is a native language. Okay, wait, this might be kind of fun, not gonna lie. Okay, I'm at 35%, and when I read this before, I wasn't living in Paris. I've never even visited Paris, so I think I'm inclined to like it more right now, just because it's way more relatable to me. When she mentions a place, I know exactly where she's talking about, and I can imagine it perfectly in my mind, so I think just for that, it gets extra points, because it's just more personal to me now. And I was able to finish this in one sitting. I'm a really slow reader, but this took me just a few hours. Not gonna lie, I did skim some parts. There's a cheating plot. I hated it the first time I read this book, and it annoyed me again. There's not much to say. This was just a very much needed light palette cleanser book after Perfume. I guess I would recommend it if you like reading cute young adult books. I didn't think I would be able to finish it in a few hours, and I still have some time left today, so I want to start another book. I have a few books in mind. I'm thinking of maybe reading The Invisible Life of Audrey Leroux, or The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I'm not sure which one I'll be reading yet, but I'll come back when I choose. Okay, I decided on reading The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley just because it literally has a Paris apartment on the cover and on the title. This just sounds like the most Parisian book out of all available choices. I think this is a mystery thriller about a journalist who mysteriously disappears while living in a Paris apartment, and in that apartment every resident have something to hide. I think we're reading from this person's sister's POV, though I'm not sure. I can't wait to start reading this, so let's go. I'm at chapter 10, which sounds like I read a lot, but I actually didn't. I've only been reading for like 20 minutes, but the chapters are very, very short. And I really like the way the chapters are structured, again, like with Perfume. We're reading every chapter from someone else's POV and we're following the residents of the apartment. We even have like the concierge and we're reading from every flat's POV basically. And I really love the variety of the characters and how different they are from each other. Okay, so this is very unrelated to the book, but it really caught my attention that two of the characters have the same name as the characters from Emily in Paris. There's a person called Camille and one called Antoine. I'm just curious, is that a coincidence or did the writer watch Emily in Paris and maybe even got inspired to write a book set in Paris? This is so smart. So the book is building all these apartments residents as suspects for the missing brother. And there's this French girl, Mimi, and when questioned, she says, "Oh yeah, I knew him. He was a nice guy," instead of saying he is a nice guy. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my English is not very good." I think that's smart to use language to make people suspects. Another thing is, like I said, we read through everyone's POV. And this Mimi girl tells us her English is not very good, but when we read from her POV, she uses really complex English words for her narration. I'm really loving Mimi so far because there's this British guy that moves into this apartment and Mimi goes like, "Oh, you're British. I love British accent. I used to watch this British show Skins. It's about people screwing and screwing up." That's one of my favorite shows. It was just so random and nice to see one of my favorite shows mentioned in a book set in Paris. Okay, reading this makes me want to walk around the streets of Paris, look at the apartments, and wonder what's going on inside. So, shall we go? Just visited the Louvre for the morning and now I'm gonna sit at a bench and read the Paris apartment and this is my view. Wait, what? I'm at chapter 26 right now, and after the Emily and Paris names, there's another incident now, and it made me freak out. So, our main female character is called Jess. Jess meets this character who's called Nick, and I'm already like, wait, that sounds familiar because I'm currently watching New Girl and the names immediately rang a bell for me. But then we learn his surname is Miller. So right now in the book we have a Jess and a Nick Miller. I think I can easily say the author loves TV shows. Skins mentioned, Emily in Paris character names, New Girl character names, literally with the surname. I don't think this is a coincidence, and these TV show names are making the book more fun for me. I finished the Paris apartment. I think this book took me like 3 or 4 days to finish, which I think is good for my reading speed. Sadly, I didn't love it as much as I thought I would though. This book started as a great mystery thriller, but I think it was around 100 pages too long. Especially towards the end, I feel like it tried to tackle way too many things all at once and lost the mystery part, and it failed at making me care for the characters, so I wasn't really invested about what's happening to them. I think I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's still a great rating. The first half was a really fun time. I would recommend this book to you if you're looking for a thriller, but not only a thriller. You also learn more about the characters and family drama. Okay, by reading this many books about Paris, in Paris, I'm starting to get sick of Paris. So with that, this video comes to an end. Hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you want to see more reading vlogs or Paris vlogs, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!